shirt on. And by the way, it's a Red Storm shirt. So this is Brian from Cajun Cardboard from the great state of Louisiana, welcoming you to another episode of NBA Past and Present. This is episode number 16. I am telling you right now, I don't know. I don't want to make you feel bad, but I'm always transparent and truthful. For whatever reason, people are allergic to watching these episodes. I will post. No, I'm not joking. I will literally. The channel is flourishing and growing and expanding at an astronomical rate. And I will post some video about Kobe Bryant basketball cards, and I will get like 1,000 views in 40 hours. On our episodes, we get like 80 views a day, and I don't know. I don't know if it's because we're on such a level. We're on such a level that people can't get where we're at, or if people are on a level and we can't get where they're at. More likely, right? Or maybe, why do people care more about basketball cards than the sport of basketball? I've always been told, Jonathan. By the way, I've got the grandfather, Coach Jonathan Pixley, with me on the show. Oh, by the way, oh my God, this is like second diatribe. Yeah. If you're a coach and you retire, you're still a coach.
Yes.
It's like my son, right? I've got a 9-year-old son. He's like, I was like, go, you're riding with Coach Brent. And he's like, he's not a coach. He doesn't coach me anymore. And I was like, well, he coached you last year. Right. And he's like, yeah, but he doesn't coach me anymore, Dad. And I was like, well, here's something you may want to understand. If you see Mr. Brent, you know, as we say in Louisiana, we use Mr. and then first names, where you would say Mr. Jones or Mr. Smith in other states. But in Louisiana, it's Mr. and then first name. And I said, JoJo, my son, if you see Mr. Brent 20 years from now, you're going to call him coach. Just like I have 31-year-old people calling me coach when they see me, right? So,
or our 8th grade coach who was turned into my CPA, I still call him.
Well, I would always call him Coach Ralph. I would never call him, what would I call him? Ralph? No, it's a sign of respect. No, he beat us there. He was the coach. We were the players, you know. Yep. Great team, by the way. Anyway, sorry, we're diatribing here. So today's episode, that's probably why we don't get any viewers, because we start by bullshitting every time we do this. But so people have already hung up or disconnected or whatever you do when you don't want to watch a video. Move on to the next one. We're giving it to y'all. This is the most important one. We're giving you our first, second, third team All-NBA. We are going to give you our NBA All-Rookie first team, just 5, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sixth Man of the Year, and then MVP 1 through 5 in order. And then we'll talk in a little bit of detail about the MVP. But we're going to throw a little twist in here, Jonathan. As we discussed, we're going to give you, under the current rules, who our first, second, and third team are. But then we're going to apply the projected or the agreed to rules in the most recent collective bargaining agreement, which have a 65-game minimum requirement to be eligible for an All-NBA team. And we're going to look and see how that would change who we would put on our All-NBA team, because it would eliminate potential players who are going to finish with less than 65 games.
And positionless, right?
And position. More important, almost, well, not more, but also super important, the new CBA, allegedly, the rules are you got to play 65 games and positionless. No guard, forward, center, no front court, back court, like all-star games, just straight up. The 5 best players are on NBA first team. The next 5 players, 6 through 10, or second team, 11 through 15 on NBA third team. So, yes, we're going to compare those two and see what changed. This is going to be interesting. And this is, you know, I tell you, you like making these lists. This shit gives me so much anxiety. Trying to choose these All-NBA guards was absolutely ridiculous. The list of players that we're going to not consider but will not make it, I said it's 7 or 8 deep who have all NBA credentials for that NBA third team guard spot. I really do, man. I don't remember it being like this.
But you're saying just for two spots, there are 7 to 8 guys.
Yeah,
that's the hard part. I guess I didn't see.
We're gonna look together. Yeah,
deep.
we're gonna look together,
Yeah.
and we'll just have to we'll get on the same page. I'm not worried about that. What order do you want to tackle this in? I'm not doing any. We don't have time for famous nicknames or who's the player on the card. We got to get down to business, and this is like serious. What do you want? Because the MVP talk is going to take a bit here too to talk through that, even though we might be on the same page. Again, we've not shared any of our lists. We've not shared any of our first team MVPs, reasoning, none of that crap. So talk to me. What do you want to do first?
I think let's go with the All NBA teams first, and let's just compare, list A, which is today's criteria, with list B, which is next year's criteria.
Okay, first team, compare. Let's do first team first. Let's go backwards. Let's do first team first. Okay, we're going to go first team, second team, third team in order. Normally you work your way up, but I think this logically is the best way for us to do it. Okay, you want to start with you giving me your first team or me giving you my first team?
I'm going to give you my first team this year, like in other words.
Yes.
Okay, and I think we're going to be probably in lockstep, close at least for the first team both ways, I think. On this. My first team is my center is Nikola Jokic, which I know we're going to be in the minority on that probably. But I believe when you look statistically, it's not that I believe that he's better statistically than Embiid. It's that I think it's not close.
Agreed. It's not.
And people need to dig a little bit on it to see what we're really talking about.
We're going to dig on it. I've got it over here. We're going to talk about that when we get to the MVP. So don't waste too much breath. I'm with you. You can see there's my list, right? I got Jokic as well. It is not close. It's just not close. Give me your two forwards.
My two forwards are Giannis and Jason Tatum. And I think those are self-explanatory. Giannis, of course. Tatum, had a little rough stretch there a few weeks back, but I mean, god dang, he's the best player on one of the best teams in the league, and he's had a heck of a year, so he's got to be one of the two forwards, in my opinion.
Is there anybody – reasonable minds could differ on Jokic and Embiid. Could anyone disagree with Giannis and Tatum at that forward position?
Not intelligently, no.
I don't think there's any way, like logically, intelligently, thoughtfully, to disagree with those two guys. They both played the necessary games. They're the first and second best teams in the league, arguably. I mean, one's an MVP candidate. Both are. I mean, depending on what your list looks like, both are in the MVP conversation. Theoretically, we know Tatum can't get it, and Giannis probably can't get it either. But okay, give me your two guards. This is where it could. I mean, honestly, we may not be on the same page, John. We're going to be on the same page with one of them, I'm sure, but we may not be on the same page. Tell me who you got. We
may not be here. I have to put Luka there. I just think, I mean, he's one of the two best guards in the world today, and he's had a great statistical season. And I do actually have SGA as my other guard.
Wow, we matched.
Yeah, he's arguably one of the three most important players to his team in the league today. Arguably, but you take him away, they are awful. They are in the playoffs because of him.
How about this? Guess where? Excuse me. They had the second lowest win total projection preseason. Like if you go Vegas and you bet over under on wins, they were number 2. Actually, they were tied with the Rockets, I think. Yeah. And look what they did. Yeah. Look what they did. What the hell, man?
Look what he did. I mean,
but look, these win totals were with Chet Holmgren kind of in the picture too. Yeah. You took away Chet Holmgren, who, think whatever you want about his offensive ability or how much he needs to eat a sandwich. The dude was going to matter defensively and really matter for that team defensively because they don't have shit inside. They got nothing. Correct. They could not possibly be more void inside. Yeah. We're on the exact same page on your first team. Let's do our second team under these rules before we switch over to the what if under the new rules. Deal? Okay, so let's do our second team. Give me your second. Well, we know our second team center. I can't imagine will be anyone other than Joel Embiid. And again, we're not going to glaze over this. We're going to discuss why we have Jokic over Embiid here, and then presumably, spoiler alert, Jokic over Embiid for the MVP. All right, give me your forwards for the second team.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be different than you here. I do have Julius Randle as one of my forwards. on the second team, and that was kind of a struggle for me because I could flip my third and second team forwards very easily. Okay.
Yep.
But I just took into account the fact that the Knicks are relevant, and he's one of the two reasons why that's the case. And then I did a little bit of digging and realized that the guy's actually had a better year than I realized. And that's Jimmy Butler. I have as my other forward.
Way better than I realized. And when I looked, he's a lot better than Randall. He's a lot better.
Yeah.
Randall marketing is basically okay. So that's where we disagree. Like, we're on the same page with Butler, and again, boring, mediocre team.
Yep.
Theoretically, probably a lot of people would perceive them as underachieving. I guess maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just achieved what we all expect. I expected them to be exactly where they are. I didn't think they'd be top 4. I thought they'd be 5, 6, which they are. He was a lot better than I thought, dude. If you look at PER, he really shines. He's the 6th best PER in the league, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's between SGA and Anthony Davis, for God's sake. The only people ahead of him are Jokic, Embiid, Antetokounmpo, Doncic. Those are basically the top 4 MVP candidates.
Yep.
Anthony Davis, and then him.
Yep.
I mean, he's freaking had a really, really, really special year. We were messing around with this Raptor crap earlier and just kind of looking at Raptor. And he's 7th on Raptor, which again, I don't put a lot of stock in Raptor. It's sometimes there's inexplicable anomalies, we'll say. Ooh, that sounds like a good name for a like a series on Netflix. Inexplicable anomalies.
David Duchovny needs to start.
David Duchovny is in there. Flava Flav would be in there, and then Sam Kinison, that comedian that used to scream. Those 3 inexplicable anomalies.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's off. And look, I always like to pull fantasy basketball in just as not necessarily a be all end all, but almost like a tiebreaker kind of deal. And this is on a per game basis. He's 14th, from a fantasy basketball standpoint, which takes into account just the 8 categories. I'm an 8-cat guy, so this is just 8 category fantasy basketball. So Jimmy Butler belongs, dude. I don't care what anybody says. He's boring. I get it. Who are your guards on the second team?
My guards are Donovan Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox are on my second team.
Before we get there, I've got Donovan Mitchell, and then I got Morant.
You'll see.
Got it. This was really hard, but when I looked at him and Fox, I just thought Morant was better. Fox more durable. Fox's team's behind Morant's, so if there is a tiebreaker, they're slightly behind. I think, if I recall, right behind. Again, that's not really a big deal. They're 2 games behind, but they're a super, super healthy, most consistently healthy starting 5 in the NBA, and 2 games behind a Grizzlies team that missed John Morant with his gun crap. And I'm trying to throw that out the window, even though it pissed me off. They missed Steven Adams for a big portion of the year. Brandon Clark out for the season. Jaren Jackson missed the beginning of the season. He has to play. I mean, the one thing that I give John Morant credit for is he somehow finds a way to coexist with dipshit Dylan Brooks on a daily basis in the same backcourt. While he shoots shots with no guide hand at all. He just flings them up with one hand. So Morant gets the asterisk for me and the benefit of the doubt. Man, I could have gone either way, Jonathan. Fox is definitely the feel-good story of the year, and I was high on him. I bought a lot of his cards, sold a lot of his cards, and still am trying to sell one of the last cards of his that I own. But that's tough. We forgot to really go back and look closer at Markkanen and Randall.
I could have flipped there very easily.
I could have flipped there too, because Randall's team success is significantly better than Markkanen's, although more was expected of the Knicks. Not that much was expected of the Knicks, but nothing was expected of the Jazz. The fact that they were
what I based it on, my flip. That was strictly what I based it on.
That's it. Team success. Team success is the tiebreaker. I'm with you, dude. And Randall has the other thing is both of them have cooled off towards the end of the season. Markkanen, they're sitting because they're trying to lose, even though they almost won last night against the Lakers, who are trying to win, and they're literally trying to lose. They sat Sexton on a minutes restriction. They sat Markkanen. They sat Clarkson. They sat the Texas Ranger, Walker Kessler. They sat everybody. Or I think they call him the sheriff, whatever. I'm going to call him Walker Texas Ranger. So anyway, we could have flipped there. So we both could be convinced Morant and Fox are interchangeable. We're both convinced that Markkanen and Randall are interchangeable. We agree on Spida. We agree on Butler. We agree on Embiid. All right, third team. Give me your center. This is
real quick. My deal with Fox and Morant is a games played and massive turnaround. That was my thing. That was my tiebreaker because
that's a great point.
I mean, nobody expected the Kings to do anything, and Fox is one of the two reasons why that happened. And he's going to win whatever the Cojones Award is, the Kobe Bryant deal this year. He's probably going to win it.
What is that?
There's a new award for clutch. It's a clutch.
Oh, his clutch numbers were off. Why do I have Morant here? I like Fox more. Yeah. Why do I have Morant there? Dude, I should have Fox there. He played a lot, Jonathan. He played a lot more games. The Kings were projected, I think, to win 33 games. They won 48.
Right. John Morant's a better player, but I think Fox had a better season. That's just me.
I'll tell you what, I'm rooting for the Kings, and I am not rooting for the Grizzlies. I lost a bet with somebody from my channel, and I've got to give something away. I bet him a card or whatever, and he's a nice dude, man. He's like, hey, I busted your ass on our bet. The Grizzlies, are going to finish. I said they wouldn't finish top 4, and we bet about $100 on it. And so now he's like, I don't want your $100. He's like, I want you to give it away to some kid on your channel, and I'm trying to figure out a way to do a giveaway where it has to go to a kid and not some greedy adult.
We agreed on that. I didn't think Memphis was.
Well, here's one thing that we can all agree on. A lot of people, not just us, got a lot of things wrong that they thought were going to happen this season.
True.
A lot wrong. We really missed on a lot. I will be the first one to tell you, people might stop watching my channel. Remember, my big deal was I think the Warriors are going to win 70 games. I think they won 3 road games like the whole season. So it didn't work out for me either. There's a lot of shit that everybody was wrong about. The one thing that everybody was right about is Bucks and Celtics at the top of the East.
Yep.
And then I was actually right about Nuggets top of the West. I think I picked Golden State, then Nuggets right behind them. So
I think that was the same, or I had Denver 1 maybe. I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to agree that it's going to be Sabonis on third team because
for sure.
If it wasn't for the 2 leading MVP candidates, he'd be first team. So Sabonis, who are your forwards?
Forwards are Markkanen and Jaylen Brown. For me.
Randall, Jaylen Brown. Don't even need to talk about it.
Yep.
Is there anybody that you think – I mean, you didn't consider Anthony Davis? Oh, by the way, here's a list of players I didn't consider that would have definitely, if they played enough games, been in here. Durant, Zion. I didn't consider LeBron. I don't think he's played enough. Kawhi, I don't think he's played enough. Curry, not enough. Lillard, because they shut him down. He would have been on my third team. He definitely would have been on my third team, and I would have considered him for second if he'd have played these last 8 games, but he just sat again. Booker, not enough. Davis, not enough.
Right. Davis was considered. I considered it because he's been so good. And Lillard actually is on my third team, and here's why. Because the other guards that you mentioned didn't play enough, and I think he had a phenomenal year on a terrible team. I got it, but
give him to me. Give me your other guard.
Lillard and Ja Morant was my other guard.
I got Fox and Holiday, and Holiday's the one that's going to surprise you.
I almost went Holiday. I really was close. Really close. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about those. We talked about this. So we were on the same. So we flip flop Fox and Morant. You had Morant and Lillard. Yeah. Okay. So we're really Holiday and Lillard are the 2 that we can talk about, and I just went with Holiday because his team was significantly better. Because I think he's the best perimeter defender in the NBA.
100%.
I think he maybe is the defensive player of the year. Now, I don't think he's going to get that award, but I think he deserves that award.
Bro, we're in lockstep there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it, but I think he's that good. And I thought he was that good last year. The fact that anybody on planet Earth could watch Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday for a season and think under any criteria that Marcus Smart was better than Drew Holiday at defense is nuts.
Bro,
absolutely nuts.
He guards the most important position on the floor for the other team every night. Okay. I say every night, probably 3 out of every 4 nights because it's always a perimeter because he'll guard Kevin Durant, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how big the perimeter is. And when you watch him, and you can go in like when we're doing our FanDuel stuff. If I knew Drew Holiday was guarding somebody, I would not bet on them.
Bet the under. Or you can bet the under point total. You know what I mean? And I'm sure FanDuel takes that into account, but I don't know how much. I don't know how much time they have to crunch numbers like that. Well, Yeah, I mean, dude, come on. I mean, and here's the other deal is like he's a better defender, and look how much more he does offensive. Like he is a huge positive for the Bucks offensively, whereas Marcus Smart is you're just trying to weather the storm with his inept, woeful offensive basketball. He's horrible. He is a freaking weight around the neck of the Celtics offensively. And Derek White's a better defender. To be honest with you, I think.
Better player.
Better player. Well, he's certainly a better offensive player. Nobody's going to argue that. But I think Derek White might be a better defender than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I think he is.
I'd have to look closer at that. And I don't like the Celtics, so I'm not going to look.
One of the dumbest statements I've ever made about basketball, and I will readily admit it, was that C.J. McCollum was a little better player than Jrue Holiday, and that was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. And now, look, I will say this. I just heard this. C.J. McCollum's been playing with an effed up thumb the whole season. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's a really good player.
Honestly, not had a bad season. It's not a bad season.
Yeah.
A lot was asked of him at various times. First, he had to carry the load with no Zion. Then he had to carry the load with no Ingram. Now he's having to carry the load with no Zion. So there's a lot, there's a lot more to it. But okay. So here, let me just show you. These are the guys that we left out from the guard standpoint that I thought had All-NBA type credentials that should have been considered. Tyrese Halliburton, not enough games.
Or good enough team.
But look where he is on the PER list. He's right. Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, nope. Trae Young, I thought had all NBA numbers and not there. Jalen Brunson was a very tough omission.
Yep.
Very, very tough omission. And then after that, Garland wasn't quite there. And so that's it at the point guard. At the shooting guard position, obviously Booker would have been somewhere in the mix had he played enough games. Harden, did you not give him the nod, or did you not think enough games?
I don't think Harden's a two-guard, first of all, but nonetheless.
No, he's not, but
I just didn't think he was as good as these other guys. That's it.
So you considered Harden, and you chose Fox and whoever, or Morant and whoever, and Mitchell and all that. Okay. Yeah. Beal, definitely down season. Jaylen Brown, we discussed this. We should have made this clear. We both considered Jaylen Brown at the forward position because we were told, or I was told that they told the NBA voters for first and second and third team that he was eligible as a forward.
Yep.
So that's why we.
Otherwise, he doesn't make it for me.
Have you looked closely at Zach LaVine? Otherwise, he might not make it. We'd have to look a lot closer. But did you look at Zach LaVine?
His numbers are fantastic, and he affects losing very well. So I said no to it.
DeRozan.
No.
Anthony Edwards. All of these guys I'm naming have ridiculous number. Anthony Edwards, especially with 77 games played and 3 left, he's going to play 80 games.
But when the way that the Timberwolves have finished the season, due in large part to Karl Anthony Towns' existence.
Oh, here we go.
I feel as though if
here we go.
Ant was that dude, he would have finished it anyhow. Probably got him in the playoffs. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I considered Steph. I really did. I know his games played is too low, and I agree with you on that. But had the Warriors finished better, I may have slid him on there instead of Damian Lillard because it just. I mean, it's freaking Steph, and he affects winning like that. But, I couldn't do it anyhow. But, yeah, I'm with you. The only other guy just overall that I considered was Siakam, who I'm not a fan of, and their season hasn't gone as planned. But when you look at him statistically, he's pretty good, dude. He really is.
He's pretty good. It's funny because you sent me some kind of mean thing about Siakam sucking. I said somebody was a poor man Siakam, and you're like, Siakam is also a poor man. And I was like, I don't know, man. I know it's
pretty good.
Annoying as shit to watch him beat the ball on the ground and never do anything fun or spectacular, but the dude does put up some pretty good numbers. All right. Let's reveal our NBA first team under the proposed changes in the CBA that we think are going to be ratified and agreed to, which is you got to play 65 games and positionless, no positions. Okay, so we know one thing that's going to change. Embiid and Jokic are going to be on both of our first teams.
Correct.
Okay, so let's pull them out.
Now, keep this in mind. I'm also projecting 65 games for people who had like 62 or 63. Agreed. So that's my exact lineup right there.
Yes, it's got to be. Again, that might be another spoiler alert for our MVP. And it's not going to be the exact. It might not be the exact order, but those are the 5. I think MVP candidates. I haven't looked at Vegas odds, but I got to believe those would be the 5 with the best odds. Even though
you know who's on the ladder now that wasn't before? That's 5th on the NBA.com ladder.
Hang on, let me think through this. I would say Donovan Mitchell.
Sabonis.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to get interesting. So let's see our second team.
Yep.
Here's my second team, Jonathan.
Yep.
Sabonis is on it.
He's
Sabonis
on mine
moves
too.
up. He takes that empty spot vacated by Embiid. So just to be clear, SGA gets slid down for me from 1st to 2nd. Same for you?
So I have SGA, Fox. I have Randall instead of Markkanen, Mitchell, and Sabonis. So yeah, we're in lockstep.
We're real close. It's the same. It's that same. Like Markkanen and Randall. They're like interchangeable. And
yep.
I guess if all things considered are equal, the great differentiator would be team success, and the Knicks had more. Yeah. In a harder. Well, I don't want to get into that, but okay, let's go to third team. Somebody's going to miss completely from my third team, and it's Randall. So Randall drops out on my third team, and I bring Levine and Brunson both in.
I've got Jimmy Butler on that third team. Remember, he made my second team.
You made my second team.
But because it's positionless, right?
That's right. Guards. Yep.
My third team. I have Siakam here. It's hard for me to do.
I could.
Jalen Brunson, Markkanen, and Trae Young made that team. Because keep in mind, Jaylen Brown made my – oh, wait a minute. I messed that up. My fault. Take Siakam off, put Jaylen Brown on that team. My fault.
Okay.
That's exactly
Jaylen Brown stays, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, we could sit here and split hairs forever. I don't know what these are what we would do. These are not what we think voters are going to do. We made that clear. So anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. This is our NBA first team. We are on the exact same page for that. And then, again, some of this stuff does change and will change when they change these CBA rules. All right, let's keep cranking. Let's go to NBA All-Rookie Team. You don't watch as much League Pass as me, and you don't like watching bad basketball as much as me. But I think it's a clear-cut 5.
It is.
Tell me who you have.
Well, I have Banchero as the Rookie of the Year, even though he's tailed off significantly at the end of the year.
Okay.
And then I have Mathurin, Jaden Ivey, Texas Walker, Texas Ranger, Kessler, and Jalen Williams, the wing from
Identical.
OKC.
Yeah. Identical.
Yeah.
And I these are not in order, obviously, because my Rookie of the Year is right in the middle. But the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. And I'm trying to think of who would even be close to pushing for a 5th spot. I guess if I had to pick my weakest of those 5, it would probably be Jaden Ivey.
Yes.
But not by a lot. Walker Kessler is by far the most efficient, the best PER of those rookies. And I remember looking at this. Look at the rookie PERs. Look at Walker Kessler's PER, dude.
I know, man.
21.62. If I go back to all players, Jonathan, his PER, he's freaking 27th. He's ahead of guys that we put on the All-NBA team.
Yep.
Brunson, he's right there with De'Aaron Fox, guys that we were considering for first team. I mean, he's really good. How dumb, you know what I'm going to say here, how dumb do the Timberwolves have to feel that they gave what they gave to get a player who's not remotely close to as good as Walker Kessler? No. Not even close. Forget about the baggage and the fact he's French and all the stuff that goes with that. But they gave away the best player in the deal
to get a guy that they wouldn't be able to play in most playoff series.
Again, and here, let me ask you one more question. How much does Rudy Gobert make a year?
45. A lot. 45.
How much is Walker Kessler going to make for the next 4 years? Freaking pennies.
45
pennies,
grand.
dude. It was that is going to go down. And again, I'm not saying Walker Kessler, the Jazz are going to win a title. That's going to go down as one of the worst trades in the history of the NBA. You know that another trade that is reminiscent of that is when Brooklyn made the deal for all the fossils, Garnett and Pierce. Yeah. And all those old ass dudes at once, and they're like, they got one more run in them. And no, they don't. They sucked, and they didn't care, and it didn't gel, and they weren't good, and they paid for name, and they took on all that salary, and it put them in prison for a long time.
Right.
This was a disaster. There's only one way out for Minnesota because hold on. So Gobert is untradeable. We would agree on that.
Correct.
No one will take Gobert under any circumstances.
No way.
You will be able to find a taker for my friend the Cat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and
you will be able to find
a loser in the trade, but they would take him. You're right.
You will find a taker.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because statistically he's fantastic, but you seem to think he's a loser. So we'll see. I don't know. Okay, that's our defensive team, all on the same page. NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
So
in order,
I went in order. Drew Holiday, number one. Who, again, not going to win it. He's not even going to be in the top three, okay? But I think he should win it. And then my next two were Jaren Jackson, number two, and actually Bam Adebayo narrowly edged out Brook Lopez for me at the third spot.
This is the deal where I went with – I don't know why I did this. I'm not even thinking. I went with what I think they're going to vote.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I apologize. Like, if you asked me to re-rank this, I would go Drew Holiday 1, Jaren Jackson 2, Brook Lopez 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I did that on this one, but I did. Yeah, I think Drew Holiday is the best defensive player in the NBA. NBA most improved player.
I think it's a slam dunk. Markkanen has to win, and SGA would be number two. Okay,
it's a slam dunk. I think SGA's got to be. You got to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying from a standpoint of SGA was a great player last year. Lauri Markkanen was laughed at by one of the two individuals on this particular show right now when the other one brought up that he was going to average 24 points a game, which he did.
And I made a tongue-in-cheek joke. He was going to make an All-NBA team. You laughed your ass off. All-NBA and All-Star.
Yeah.
Yes. So
and then
another
the
one
third guy was Jalen Brunson. That's exactly my list right there.
Yeah, that's my list. That's the order for me. And same reason, the disparity between last year and this year. How about this? Let's put it this way. Last year, Lauri Markkanen was the fourth best player on the Cavs.
Yes.
And this year, he's a franchise player.
Yes.
On a pretty freaking good contract. Again, I'm not anointing the Utah Jazz. If they couldn't win it with Stockton and Malone, they're probably not winning it with the Sheriff and Lauri Markkanen, right? 14 feet of white players. But, dude, they're in a good situation. And I'll tell you right now, my early pick, right? Here, this is a hot take for you, right? My early pick for most improved player in the NBA next season is going to be Colin Sexton. I think they're going to hand him the ball. I think they're going to make a deal, and Jordan Clarkson's going to be gone. They're going to clear that space. Okay. They're going to let Colin Sexton run the point. They're going to have Agbaji at the 2. They're going to let Markkanen marinate for another year with Kessler as the 5. They're going to be a freaking problem. They're going to be one of those teams where you're not going to – they're going to be the Kings of next year. That's just my prediction. I don't think they're going to win the title. I'm not going that far, and I'm not saying they're going to finish second in the West or whatever, but – they're going to be the biggest surprise. If I say who's the biggest surprise this year, you say Sacramento Kings. Not close. If I say who's the biggest surprise next year, I'm going on record. It's the Utah Jazz.
I can see it. I don't think they're going to be good, but I could see them sneaking into the play-in. I could see that. Yeah. And you're right. If they move Clarkson, then Sexton is in that spot where he could do that. Yeah, for sure.
He could be at 25, 6 and 6.
That's true.
That would probably win him the most improved player.
And he's efficient too now. Always has.
He's more efficient than I thought. Yes, I thought he was a floor slapping Marcus Smart when he first came in the league. He's not. Yeah. He's a little bit better shooter than people realize as well. Yeah. Sixth man of the year. I hate this fucking award. What are we arguing about? Are we arguing about the 100 and what is it? Let's see. There's 30 teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
Are we arguing who the 151st best player in the league is? This is the stupidest freaking award.
It's not that. You're arguing as to who is borderline starter comes off the bench. That's really what you call it.
Every single one of these guys would start for the Rockets, the Pistons, the Mac. I mean, you know what I mean? It's stupid, right? I hate this award. I don't like it. It feels like a participation award. The fact that it's 41 games, like here, and let me just show you my list. Here's why it's stupid. Because Tyrese Maxey's if he finishes the season and starts the last 3 games, he's ineligible. But if he doesn't and he only starts 40 games, he's eligible.
Yeah.
That's dumb. I don't know. I know you got to have a threshold somewhere and a point you can't cross, but like it's just a stupid award. I just can't stand it. Anyway, I got Brogdon, Maxey, Quickly in that order.
So
that's with an asterisk because if he starts one more game, he's not eligible.
And that's why I have Maxey third and Quickly second.
Oh, okay.
Really the only reason.
Well, he won't be third. He will be ineligible. But yeah, I get it. I'm trying to think who else would be a good 6-man.
Who cares?
I bet money on FanDuel. By the way, I bet a shitload of money on Jordan Poole on FanDuel to win 6-man of the year. And of course I lose it all because he's not eligible.
Right? And he didn't have a great year either, but still.
No, but he would have been he had a better year than these guys on this list.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did look at Brogdon and Quickly and Maxey and looked at their stats closely. Brogdon's significantly better than the other two. I didn't think he was, and then I looked really close at it from an efficiency standpoint. He was better he was pretty much better in every way except points compared to Maxey.
The other part is with Brogdon, and the Celtics are the rare occasion where their starting point guard is their third best guard on their roster.
No, he's not.
If you count Jaylen Brown
best guard
forward, if you count Jaylen Brown,
he's the 5th best guard.
Who's the other one besides?
Well, I mean, you don't consider Tatum a guard, I guess, but certainly Jaylen Brown, certainly Derek White, certainly Malcolm Brogdon. So he's at the very least he's the best. At the best case scenario, he's the 4th best guard.
But I'm saying in a lineup where you would put Brown as a forward, right?
Yeah,
he would not start. That's really
that's correct.
Yeah.
This is going to be the exact same for both of us and probably in the same order. Let's just reveal it. Same order?
Yes.
Exact same order.
Right now, I was close. I was close on flipping 2 and 3 until the other night. Because then at that point, it's like, okay, yeah.
We can agree that he slammed he's going to win it. This is who we would choose. This is not who we think's going to win it. Right. We are both certainly we think that Embiid's going to win it. The bullshit from Doc Rivers after the game saying it's over, that is going to help, even though it shouldn't, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because Mike Malone could go out and do the same thing. I mean, Jokic could go 21, 18, and 21 next game, which Embiid could never do in 1,000 games, ever replicate that. And Malone could say the same freaking thing. Is the narrative going to flip back? I don't know. Jokic and them don't really have much to play for anymore, do they? Aren't they kind of settled? I mean, they're up. I think they're up 2. Yeah, they're up 2 with 3 games to play.
Yeah. I did switch one thing, man. I did. It's not the exact same. I apologize.
Would you switch? Tatum and Doncic?
This is going to make no sense because on my 65-game first team, I had Luka, right, as the 5th guy. I had those 4 and then Luka. I had that list right there. For MVP, when I'm voting on who's the most valuable to their team, I took Luka out and I put SGA. He's not a better player. His team is ahead of Dallas and has equally as bad of players, close to it, maybe a little bit better, but not – I mean, he don't have a Kyrie Irving on his team, for example, right?
Right, he's got somebody who plays defense.
And he doesn't guard – and Luka guards no one, is the biggest bitch.
And SGA is a plus defender.
Yes. And so MVP, most valuable. I didn't say better player. None of those, all that.
I hate the title. They should just call it best statistics.
Yeah. Well, and
best statistics on best team is what they should call it.
Please go look at SGA's shooting splits. 90% from the free throw line, dude.
I know, man. I know. I know.
I just took team success into it, and that dude has led a group of nobodies to maybe a fringe playoff spot.
Yeah. All right, listen. I broke it down. Here's what I have Jokic and Embiid because I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be sure. Yep. And I didn't think I was going to be sure even after comparing them very closely, but I was very sure after. PER, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, so your aggregate counting stats. That's per game, of course. Field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, true shooting, free throw percentage, turnovers, usage, offensive rebound percentage, defensive rebound percentage. They play the same position, so you can compare stuff like that because it matters. Offensive win shares, defensive win shares, win shares overall. Some of this is duplicative, right? Lots of shooting stuff. Offensive box, defensive box, total box. VORP, which is value over replacement player, which I don't completely understand, but I think it's how much better they are than an average center that would replace them. Correct. And then I totaled up who got the most check marks. Now, here's the deal. If you were better in a category, I gave that player an X. If you were way, way, way better, like not close, way better, I gave you 2 X's, okay? Here's what I ended up with. A couple of these things really surprised me. PER, Jokic, one of the best PER seasons in NBA history. But, again, Embiid is right there behind him, 0.13 behind him, right? And actually, Jokic's PER, I think, has come down a little bit over the last month. And then let me look at Jokic last year, just out of curiosity. Yeah, so Jokic last year was bananas. Anyway, all right, going back to it. Points, Embiid by a lot. Rebounds, Jokic by a lot, actually. Assists, Jokic, obviously double. Steals. By the way, we should stay here. When you add up points, and then if you give them like 2.2 points or whatever per assist, because some of those are threes, points accounted for is Jokic in a landslide, and it's not close. And the big deal is Embiid's this great offensive force. Well, Jokic is creating more points than Embiid is. He's not making them himself, but he's creating them. Steals, it's Jokic a little bit. Blocks is by far Embiid, not close. But this is where it gets really confusing. We're about to talk about that blocks deal in a second, because you would think, well, he blocks more and has almost as many steals, so he must be a better defender. He's not. We're going to talk about that in a second, or at least he's not according to the statistics. Field goal percentage, far and away. Effective field goal percentage, far and away. True shooting percentage, far and away. And you could argue those are all duplicative of each other. If you're going to win one, you're going to win them all. Free throw percentage, Embiid's a really good free throw shooter and shoots an ass ton of them. I mean, a lot. Turnovers, they were what? Completely equivalent. The next, I have usage rate in here, and I don't know if this is a pro or this is a con, or you can call it whatever you want. I don't really give a shit. I just thought it was interesting, the disparity. The second highest usage rate in the NBA is Embiid. The guy that we think's MVP has the 33rd highest usage rate. And when you go sort it by usage rate, listen to the players that have, in usage rate is how many possessions finish with that guy shooting it or turning it over, right? Basically.
Or creating it, or an assist, a direct
assist. Or an assist or something like that, right? That's what usage rate is. It's not how many times you bounce the ball, but how much your team uses you to conclude their offensive possessions, basically. And when we sort it this way, Jokic is just behind Kyle Kuzma and Keldon Johnson, and right next to Jalen Green and Porzingis. That's crazy. For him to be in the MVP conversation, that just speaks volumes about his efficiency when he does get the usage, right? Offensive rebounds, defensive rebound percentage, again, you could say it's duplicative with rebounds. Offensive win shares is Jokic. Defensive win shares is Embiid. Total win shares is not close. That's how big the disparity is offensively. Offensive box, defensive box, all of that, Jokic in a landslide. VORP, Jokic. When you add it all up, there's 20 X's in one column and 6 in the other. If it was 12 and 10, you'd go look at team success. And guess what? It'd be the Nuggets. So it's lopsided, and they have a better record. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's close.
Think about this. He is Embiid's going to lead the league in scoring, I guess, right? Him or Doncic?
No, it's him. So, it's Embiid.
So Embiid leads the league in scoring, so everybody would automatically go, oh, he's a better offensive player, like you said, right? Even though everybody recognizes Jokic's passing ability. Jokic contributes and accounts for more total points on way lower usage. More points on way lower usage. So
way lower usage. Way lower.
Like, who's more valuable? In other words, basically, when that dude touches the ball, it probably leads to a basket, period. That's it, So, that to me is
say this. I don't think we define usage rate correctly. I don't think usage rate includes assists.
Okay. So even better. Even
yeah,
better.
no, I know. I'm just saying. I think it's free throws, shots attempted. God damn it. Free throw attempts, turnovers, and field goal attempts. Yeah, no assists. That's it. Yeah. Does that make sense? So that player attempts a field goal, ends up shooting free throws, or turns it over.
So got it. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
He shoots less than Embiid, which is
that.
why his usage rate. He shoots less than all the superstars, which is why it's down. Like if I go back to Monster here,
but produces more points.
But produces significantly more points than almost anybody in the entire league. Yeah. Look, I think it's landslide.
You're going to get to the defensive rating and all that stuff. You take that out. Just take it out. It's no question. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer that Jokic is the MVP.
Yeah.
You put the defensive rating back in, which actually makes Jokic look like he's a little better defender or a lot better defender than he is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not arguing that Embiid's not a better defender. He's a better defender than freaking Nikola Jokic, period. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. But the rating system matters. It does matter because,
here's a couple more things. Let me zoom a little bit so I can see this. Woof. Over here, far right column, there's your wins against replacement, 20.4. Like if we sort it, look at the difference between Jokic and Embiid. The difference between Jokic and Embiid is the same as the difference between Embiid and
keep going,
Herbert Jones or Dante DiVincenzo.
Yep.
Let that be like to put it into perspective. The disparity against wins against replacement is that drastic. Here is everybody in the NBA, right? And then this is a kind of a confusing graph because it's offensive Raptor rating on the right. So people furthest to the right are the best offensive players. People furthest to the top are defensive players.
Right.
Look at Jokic. He's both. He's one of the 4 best defensive players in the NBA, according to Raptor, which, again, it's not the Bible, and he's by far the best offensive player.
Yeah. It's not close, especially and look, you can define most valuable however you want to in this. It's one of the few situations where however you want to describe it statistically, who brings the most value, best player on, winning team, any number of ways. You can't cut it up any other way than Jokic should be the MVP.
The Raptor rating for Jokic, the difference between Embiid's Raptor rating, which is number 2, and Jokic is the same as the difference between Isaiah Hartenstein and Embiid. Wow. Yeah. That's it. That's a wrap. I mean, if anybody disagrees, like the numbers back it up. Now, if you want to give it to Embiid because you're sick of giving it to the same player, then just do it and own it. Do it and say it, though. Don't say, I think Embiid had a better season, because no one can compare the season statistically.
Or say you don't want to give Jokic 3 in a row because Bird and Russell and Wilt did it. Fine. Say that. Whatever. But say it.
Yeah, just tell the truth is all we're asking. MVP voters, just tell the truth. That's all we're asking. So I think we both agree if we had a vote, we're giving it to Jokic and not thinking twice. And that's coming from the biggest Giannis fan on planet Earth, which is the best player on the best team, who, again, had an incredible season,
Yeah. So he's the best player. He's the best player in the world. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
You think right now, healthy in a 7-game series, he's the player you choose him? I know you're a huge KD guy. You would choose Giannis to be your guy over KD. And again, it's hard because you got to know what's around him, but best player in the world.
Because he affects everything. So, and Durant, I'm not saying Durant doesn't. Don't get me wrong, but I would take Giannis. Yeah.
He puts a lot of pressure on the defense. All right. That's a wrap, man. Anything else we need to talk about?
Let's get ready for the playoffs. It's exciting time, man. It's going to be exciting time.
Yeah. So Jonathan, this should come out. I'm going to put this thing out like Monday, maybe. That way, that should be right when the season ends, or maybe Tuesday. So the awards will be fresh on everybody's mind and hot topic conversation. And then we need to record soon. I'm going to North Carolina next week for my kids' soccer. So we need to try to record Monday or Tuesday so I can post it. I leave town Thursday, but I want to do our playoff bracket. Right? Obviously, we've got to do that. We did one stupid one a couple episodes ago that was way premature. Now we'll know. I don't know when the last day of the season is. Do you?
No, but I mean, it's got to be this weekend, right?
They all have 3 games left. Shouldn't it be like Sunday or Well, it might be like Monday or Tuesday because, well, remember, they want to start those things on a Saturday, right? Don't they always start the playoffs on a Saturday? So I'm guessing, and then there'll probably be 2 days off, 3 days off. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But the next episode, you can just bet on that.
Yeah.
We'll put all of our other great ideas, and we got a lot of them on the side. The next episode is going to be about our playoff predictions and why.
No doubt.
Cool. All right. Thanks. That's another episode. That's a wrap. There it is. The pinky's out. The Grindfather has what's the word? Exposed himself, or his pinky at least. He's exposed his pinky. That should be the name of this episode. The Grindfather exposes his pinky. How many clicks will we get? That's what I'm doing. That's the episode. The Grindfather exposes his pinky. And I'm going to see if we can get some damn clicks. Maybe and get some female viewers finally. You know? Thanks for watching. Keep collected. Stay positive in the hobby. Peace.